Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. And I'm wearing my mama shirt for today's video because we are going to be talking all about breastfeeding, a topic that I am so passionate about. So my son is 13 months old and he is a nursing champ. He nurses about 7 or 8 times in a 24-hour period. So he is still going strong. So I'm gonna be sharing some tips and tricks to boost your milk supply, giving some breastfeeding advice when times are hard, and also sharing what to do when your baby bites you. So if you'd like to chat all things breastfeeding with me today, then just keep watching. Alrighty, so jumping right in, like I mentioned, my son is 13 months old and he still nurses around the clock. So my breastfeeding journey started obviously the day he was born, and I was not prepared for how hard it was gonna be during that first month. I, for some reason, thought it would come so natural and that it would be just this blissful experience of us looking into each other's eyes and that it would just be this great, positive, happy thing. But it was not that way for the first month. He had a really bad latch at the beginning, and no tongue tie or anything, but he had a very bad latch. So immediately in the hospital, day like 1.5, I had blisters all over my nipples. They were bleeding, cracked. It hurt so bad to nurse. Every time he would cry because he was hungry, I would literally like tense up because I was so scared because it hurt so bad. Like tears would just be pouring down my face because it hurt so bad. So I met with my lactation consultant and she just said, if you really want to breastfeed, you power through this pain and it will pass and it will get better. And it did. After about a month, my nipples healed completely. His latch got so much better. And we both turned into nursing professionals. He was great at it and we haven't had a problem ever since. So if you are struggling with breastfeeding or if you really want to breastfeed, I really encourage you, if that's something you really want to do, to get past the first month and then reevaluate. It is so hard at the beginning. You're healing from birth. You have these cracked nipples. You have this tiny newborn that can't do literally anything. It is such a hard time. You're sleep deprived. So if you really want to breastfeed, I highly suggest to reevaluate after that first month. Be patient with yourself, be patient with your baby. It will come and it will get so much easier, I promise. Okay, first tip, I'm gonna share something. I'm just gonna get out of the way because everyone talks about it, but that is to drink water all the time. Drink water. Have a water station at every chair, couch, bed. Have water everywhere in your home. Once you get back from the hospital and your milk is starting to come in and you're trying to regulate your supply, water is really what is going to help more than anything else. You have to be hydrated. They say to drink, I think it's like 100 ounces to a gallon, which I think a gallon is like 126 or something like that. So a gallon, imagine a gallon of milk, like that's a lot of water that you have to drink in a day. Keep your water intake up. That is truly what's gonna help your milk supply more than anything else. What I did is I had a water bottle or water of some sort at every place that I would be when I got home from the hospital. So by the couch, by the chair, and in my bedroom, I had water everywhere so that anytime I was nursing, and at the beginning they nursed for a long time, that I would have water really close to me. That is truly what's gonna help your production more than anything else that I'm gonna talk about. So if you think you're drinking enough water, drink some more. And if you have trouble drinking water, or if you're someone that just forgets to drink it a lot, I highly suggest giving the liquid IVs a shot. They have a few different flavors. This one is the passion fruit. It says that it's 2 to 3 times more hydrating than water by itself. It says that 1 stick is equal to 3 water bottles, which is pretty crazy. So highly suggest giving these a shot if you have a hard time with your water consumption. Going along with that, another thing that really helped me with my milk production, again, at the very beginning when trying to regulate and get a supply going, is this Body Armor. It's called Superior Hydration. It's a super drink is what it says. And it's made with coconut water and electrolytes. So again, so great for your hydration when you're trying to produce. I would always keep a few of these in my fridge and it tastes like a yummy, it's like a fruity drink. So it's really nice to have on hand just when you are really struggling with your supply. Drink. When you're maxed out on the water, then move on to some Body Armor drinks. It really helped me so much get a really good supply going. Next thing that I swear by is oatmeal. So if you Google foods to boost milk supply, oatmeal is usually always one of the top ones. Anytime that I would feel my milk supply dropping or I wasn't eating enough because I was, you know, up all night and trying to get a nap. And I don't know if you were the same way, but sometimes it's hard to get a meal when you're holding your baby. I really struggled with that at the beginning because my son liked to be held 24/7. So oatmeal is such a great way, super easy. Pop it in the microwave. This is the quick 1-minute oats. Pop it in the microwave, throw some peanut butter on there to boost your calories. Again, good for milk supply. So I highly suggest trying out oatmeal if you are trying to boost your supply. Next tip that I have is brewer's yeast powder. So if you've ever heard of lactation cookies, pretty much all lactation cookies call for brewer's yeast in there. And I'm not sure what is in here. What's in here that makes it, I don't know. I don't know what's in here that makes your milk production just skyrocket. But for about 3 weeks after I got home from the hospital, my husband was having lactation cookies on deck for me with brewer's yeast and oats in them as well. And I turned into a machine. So brewer's yeast in lactation cookies is so, so helpful. And on top of it, you get to have a cookie, but it's like for your lactation. So it's like the best excuse ever to have like 12 in a day, you know? Okay, last item that I'm gonna be talking about is mother's milk tea. So truthfully, all of the other things that I've talked about really helped my milk production on their own. I didn't really like need this tea, but I really liked having it a few times a week just to really help my supply. I was one of those people that I was just super scared to lose my supply and I would do anything to keep it. So I just incorporated this in my nightly routine a few times a week, and it's caffeine-free herbal tea, and it includes fennel and what's the other one? Fennel and fenugreek, which are both supposed to help your milk supply as well. So if you're having trouble but you don't like oatmeal or you have a hard time drinking water, maybe try some tea, put some honey in it, make it a yummy little nighttime drink. So I really liked, this is the mother's milk one, but there's other ones out on the market as well. So to sum up those tips real quick: water, Body Armor drinks, brewer's yeast, oatmeal, and tea. That was the last one. Those 5 things, incorporate those in your routine, and I am fairly confident that your milk supply will just... Okay, so now moving away from the food and drink tips, I'm gonna be talking about some other tips and tricks. So my number 1 tip, if you are struggling with your supply, is to pump. Power pump. Milk is a supply and demand thing. You're not gonna be producing if you are not actively nursing or actively pumping. So anytime until my son started eating solids at 6 months old, anytime he would get a bottle, I would then pump. So let's say my husband took him for the morning time so I could sleep a few extra hours. He would give him a bottle in the morning. Right when I would wake up, if I missed a feeding, I would pump. So that way my body didn't miss the feeding. Once your body misses the feeding, then it'll start thinking, oh, you don't need to produce as much because your baby isn't eating in the morning, and it's just this vicious cycle. I feel like when bottles are incorporated, it gets kind of tricky because you think, oh, I was able to skip that feeding. And if you're not fully engorged, then you're like, oh yeah, I'm totally fine. But it's a supply and demand situation. So if you're not pumping or nursing as often as you would like to produce, your body is gonna in return not produce. So if you are exclusively breastfeeding or would like to exclusively breastfeed, anytime your baby gets a bottle, pump. It doesn't need to be a crazy amount of pumping either, but pump for 8 to 10 minutes and then call it good. So another thing that really helped my milk supply at the beginning was massaging my breasts. So the first little bit while your milk's coming in and your body's trying to regulate it, a lot of times to help my letdown, I would massage my breast down this way to help the milk get down towards the nipple. So that would really help me because you have milk ducts like all up, like in your armpit. You have milk ducts everywhere. I would have my baby in one hand and be pushing towards the direction of my nipple with my other hand, just massaging it, releasing those ducts to help my milk let down, and that helped so much at the beginning. So something that I learned along the way was to try and eliminate distractions. So especially at the beginning of breastfeeding, you want to have a good letdown, and it's hard for your body to kind of learn and see what it's doing. And so when I was focused on my baby, staring at him, looking at him, examining him, thinking about him, looking at pictures of him, my body would let down so quickly. When I was like talking or watching TV or doing other things, a lot of times it would take my body a little bit longer to have a letdown, and then my son would get frustrated because nothing was coming out. So I really, really suggest to just focus in on your baby. Oxytocin is strong regardless, but so strong. Like you can feel it. You can feel it. It is so crazy when you are nursing, when you're staring at them and when they're nursing from you. It's like, it makes me emotional. I love nursing so much. It is just like the best. It's such a cool experience. Oh, why am I crying? Stop crying about breastfeeding. Everyone's okay. Okay, and this next one is really hard. I know this is a hard one to do, but really try to eliminate stress anywhere you can. Stress is a direct link to milk production. When you're really stressed out, your supply drops. So just try to be relaxed. Try to have some you time, have some self-care, take a bath, do a face mask, have a shower alone. Try to do anything that will help you de-stress a little bit to help your supply. Another tip that is going to be really helpful is to try to eat well. Try to have enough calories throughout your day. Try to eat whole foods as often as you can. I mean, not all the time. I mean, I'm having Cadbury eggs like on the daily right now, but anytime you can have whole foods, really try to. What we eat, again, is a direct correlation to our milk supply. So when we're eating really heavy, greasy things, lots of soda, alcohol, that really tanks our milk supply because soda and alcohol dehydrates our body when we need to be hydrating it. Anytime you can try to have whole, clean foods, try to choose that. It will really help your supply. Okay, so next we're gonna talk about biting. What to do when your baby starts getting teeth and starts biting you. A lot of times that is when people might think about weaning them from breastfeeding because your baby has teeth. My baby bit me for a total of 1 day, and that is because I quickly tried to nip that right in the bud. So when he started getting a few teeth, he's probably 8 months. He had his 2 teeth on the bottom. He was getting a couple more on the top. So I researched what to do when your baby bites you. And what you are supposed to do is push your baby more towards your breast. So your nipple goes further down into their mouth and then they can't get the latch to bite. So that is what I did. I kind of, it's not suffocating, but you'd kind of hold them really close to your breast and they will immediately unlatch. So I tried doing that for a couple feeds, but he didn't stop biting me. It just unlatched him for the time being. So then what I tried to do is do a gentle like flick at his chin, like, ouch, that hurts, mom, and try to just flick his chin a couple times, not to hurt him, but just to startle him, to make him stop. He ended up thinking that was funny. So that didn't work either. What really seemed to work for me is to do those other things. Anytime he would bite, I would push his face further into my breast and then also flick his chin. But what I really tried to do, and this is what helped him stop, was to focus in on him and talk to him. A lot of times for me, when I would nurse, I would use it as a time to scroll on my phone, get some downtime. I could relax for a few minutes, scroll on Instagram, and what your baby's doing the whole time is staring at you, not look at them. So the older he got, the more he realizes like, hey, my mom's not even paying attention to me. And that totally broke my heart. So I started putting my phone away and really focusing in on him, staring at him, massaging his head, touching his hands, talking to him, smiling at him. And he completely stopped biting me. And he has never bit me since. And it's been about 6 months since that. So anytime I feel him getting a little like jostly or jerky with my nipple and just kind of his head is kind of going everywhere, I will just relax, put my phone away, stare at him, hold his hands, play with his feet, just look at him and interact with him while he's nursing. Just looking at each other, it's just, he's so happy, I'm so happy, and he completely stopped biting me. So I would really suggest those few things. Try putting their face closer in on your nipples so they detach. Try flicking their chin, or even try quitting the nursing session altogether. So if they keep biting, fine, you're cut off, you're done with your nursing session. See if that might help. They might get the memo after a few times when they bite. If you cut them off, maybe they'll get that memo as well. Or do what I did and just really try focusing in on them and eliminating all distractions. So breastfeeding is truly my favorite part and also the hardest part about motherhood for me. I love it so much more than I ever thought I would. Those times that we're nursing in the night and it's just him and I, or like anytime, I just love it. I love it so much. I love that I'm his person. I love that I'm his comfort. I love it. I love everything about nursing. I really do. It is so special for him and I. However, it is so hard mentally, physically, emotionally. It is really hard. It's really hard to know that you can't just leave without taking a pump or taking your baby with you. It's almost feel like you're trapped sometimes. It's especially when your baby is nursing so frequently. My son still nurses around 4 times like during the day. So if I leave, I need to take a pump if I'm not gonna see him for a while. So it's hard it's hard feeling that way. And it's also hard feeling like all of the nighttime feeds are your responsibility because your baby just wants you for comfort. That's really hard. It's hard that, you know, my son loves my husband, he adores him, but in the middle of the night when he's crying, he wants his mom, he wants me, he wants to nurse. And that's really mentally exhausting. So no matter how long you nurse, a day, a week, a month, a year, 2 years, anytime, it's hard. It's hard and you're seriously doing a great job. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And don't let anyone tell you that, oh yeah, it's easier to breastfeed. It's so much easier. It's easier. No, it's, both are, I'm sure, equally hard. I've never formula fed a child before, but I'm sure that has its ups and downs as well. Breastfeeding is hard. It's really hard work. So don't let yourself ever forget that you are freaking a rock star, okay? You're a rock star. And so I think that pretty much wraps up my thoughts so far in my breastfeeding journey. It's still continuing, but I think that pretty much sums it all up for now. So if you guys have any questions about anything that I talked about, any food, any tips, any pumping, nursing, demand, anything, leave a comment down in the description box, or you can always message me on Instagram. My handle will be in the description box as well. Please message me there. I love talking about nursing. I love breastfeeding. It's such, I love it. I love everything about it. I really do. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video or if you learned anything or got anything out of it, please give this video a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. My next video is gonna be my 9 to 12 month baby essentials. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. And thank you guys again for watching, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye.